What's up guys, we're back in Motorsport Exotica to dyno the bike. I downloaded already stock and it produced around 192 or so horsepower. This time I'm going to be doing the dyno with a GP22 op map with Gabbros map, Sprint air filter and Gabbros velocity stacks. I'm curious to see how much it's going to produce. I'm thinking maybe 200 plus. Let's go put it on the dyno and find out.
Alright guys, so I have the graph. The number that you'll see here, total number is 201.78. It actually made 202.35. I just don't have the graph here. It was a mix-up with the graphs. Total number was 202.35, but it's actually in standard smoothing. And I don't want that. Why? Because the smoothing I want is SAE, because the original dyno that I did in stock is in SAE. And the goal here is not to get a total number. Total number means nothing. All that you want when you dyno a bike is the before and after. You need the baseline from stock to whatever the tuning of the bike is to compare the two numbers. So I will disregard this graph because it actually means nothing. This is what matters. All graphs on SAE smoothing, but this time all at the same graph, so we can actually compare also the graph. So the stock number was 190.63. That's what it produced stock. Now if you see this drop here, if you watch the first dyno video, it was because I had a warranty claim, and basically what happened, the fuel injector connectors were swapped. They were in a different location from factory, which is very weird. So it was cutting around 7,000 RPM. So don't so you can just disregard this graph here. Normally this would just be a straight line over here if it wouldn't have this power cut, but 190.63 stock and 198.05 after the velocity stacks, sprint filter, race filter, GP22 exhaust, and Gabbros map for the velocity stacks. Now that's a difference, or that's an increase of 7.42 horsepower. Okay, again, I could care less about what the increase in horsepower is. It's not the number that I'm looking for. What matters to me is this exact graph that you'll see over here. What do you see here with this is that at around 7,200 RPM, you see this power increase over here, all the way to red line, but it kind of flattens out and kind of almost matches what the stock was here. So the biggest increase you have from 7,200 up to around here, which is around 10.5, 10,600 or so. So you have a big power increase over here. You still have a power increase from here, and then it's more significant over here. Now you'll probably ask, is this worth it? Okay, is it worth to spend all that money for this power increase, for an extra 7.5 horsepower, basically? Well, it depends. It depends on how you see it. Is it worth it for the track, or is it worth it for the street? Well, it's definitely worth it for the track, especially if you're a racer. There's no question about that. Any power increase will play a huge role on the track, or if you're racing. And I can confirm the power increase from the ride and how it feels. Now, I'm not saying it will feel that, you know, it's ripping your arms off the bars. No, it's not that big of a power increase. It's not 20 horsepower increase. Okay, it's 7.5 horsepower. But when I did flyby videos and the on-bar comparisons for the GP22 versus the stock exhaust, I actually went and I measured the time from redlining first gear to shifting to second gear, from redlining third gear to shifting to fourth. So basically I measured from the second I shifted to second gear to the time I redlined third gear, and the difference in that from stock to you know, the whole GP22 tune and velocity stacks was more than half a second, which is, to me, that's huge. Okay, that's just from one gear. I measured, I think it was like 2.5 seconds, I believe, for stock, and 1.8 seconds for GP22 with the tune and everything. So that's why I'm saying for the track, that's a significant, it's profound how much faster the bike accelerates. And for the track, that matters. So yes, there's no question that for the track, this is definitely an upgrade that's worth it. Now, is it worth it for the street? That's the big question. That's mostly who is going to ask this question, because someone that's racing at the track is not going to ask this question, is this worth it? Every single power increase is worth it, no matter how much you might spend for that. But for the street, I understand why this question is very important, because I think I spent about $900, I think, or so, for the entire kit, which was velocity stacks, up map with Gabriel's map, and sprint filter. Of course, I'm not including the GP22, that's separate. So is $900 worth this power increase for the street? Well, I can say this: yes, it's worth it, and no, it's not worth it. Why both no and yes? I'll explain to you why. If you're planning to keep your bike stock and not change the exhaust, then there's no reason for you to do any of this. Okay, you're keeping the bike stock completely. This power increase will mean nothing. Okay, half a second faster from second to third, you're never going to utilize that power on the street, assuming you're remaining legal. Now, if you're a street racer, then that's a different conversation. I'm not gonna go there, but the bottom line is, it's not, the power increase is not really worth it. This graph increase that you see here, it doesn't really matter on the street. The bike stock has plenty of power for you to use. You'll never actually use it or utilize it. You don't really need it. But the thing is that there's no way you're going to own an RSV4 and keep the stock exhaust. We know that's not going to happen. I mean, RSV4 is probably the best sounding bike out there, and I'm not being biased. I would admit if another bike sounded better. I think the RSV4 is the best sounding bike out there, and there's no way you're not going to change that exhaust to make that, you know, sound come to life. Okay, stock bike sounds great as it is, but of course you can compare when you know, put a CRT on it, or SC Project, SC1R, GP22, or any other type of exhaust. You can't deny the fact that it will sound amazing. So The fact that you're going to change the exhaust means you're going to need a tune. There's no question about that. You will need a tune because the bike runs lean as it is from factory to meet Euro 5. So the way I see it is this: you're going to need a tune, which means, let's assume you're going with an app map. Okay, the app map will cost you what, $500-600 to get an app map to compensate for the tune for the exhaust. So I mean, it's what, $250-300 extra to get the kit, because when you get it as a kit, it comes cheaper. So you're basically paying $300 more for an air filter and velocity stacks. I think that that's not really that expensive to include, since you're already going to get the app map. So I think it's a no-brainer that everyone should get the velocity stacks, filter, and app map as a kit. If you're going to get the app map anyway, you might as well do it. The price difference is negligible, and it comes a lot cheaper when you get it as a kit. So for that reason, for the street, I would say yes, it's worth it. This graph increase, yes, it's worth it based on the amount of money you'll spend. Do you need it as a legal rider on the street? No, you do not, but you're going to get an exhaust. I know you probably will. So since you will need to tune the bike, then you might as well get the whole pack. So this is my conclusion. Yes, 100% worth it. Do it. Overall, I would say this kit is totally worth it. The whole Gabbro velocity stacks, filter, and exhaust, the whole combination, 100%. Not only will it make the bike sound amazing, but it will be also much faster. All right, guys, so you tell me what you think. Is it worth it? Would you do it? Is the money worth it for this power increase? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think, if this is an upgrade that you would consider. I hope this video gave you some answers, because I couldn't find anywhere else something similar with this kit and GP22 exhaust to compare, because usually most people, what they do is they dyno the bike after the tune and they don't have the baseline. So to me, that's more important, the difference, and not the total number. I could care less about total number. What matters is what's the difference in the graph, where you get the power increase or the torque. So I hope this video helped you get your answers. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.